Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with this thing, the David Oistrakh, yes, the David Oistrakh Warner Remastered Edition, which also bills itself as the complete Columbia and HMV recordings, plus select premieres, rarities, and live performances curated by David Oistrakh scholar and groupie Bruno Monsaingeon, who has been an Oistrakh person for his whole life. And he relentlessly sort of tormented the Soviets to get recordings that were sitting in the archives that they don't even know they have, and all this stuff. And there's a lot of it in here, mostly of things that Oistrakh never otherwise recorded. So they're important in terms of additions to his discography. They are of, obviously sound quality, but they've done their best to clean it up. And you also get 3 DVDs, I think, at least, or a whole bunch of DVDs. David Oistrakh, A Musical Portrait, Recitals in Moscow, and a film by said Bruno Monsaingeon, David Oistrakh, Artist of the People. It's quite a box. It really is. It's got, how many discs in here? Let's see. Oh, gosh. I just love it when they have black on brown. That makes it just so easy to figure out what they're doing here. Hang on. Here it is. 58 CDs and other things, and then the DVDs and whatnot. So that's 60 some odd things. Pretty amazing. An amazing collection by one of the great violinists of the 20th century, for sure. I'm an extraordinary artist. And here's the question, though. This is what really, really matters. Do you want this thing if you already have this thing? This was the original EMI David Oistrakh edition containing all the EMI recordings. And it was only on, they squished them all onto 17 CDs, some with nice, juicy, long playing times, really just lovely. And the sound is very good, and it's a wonderful representation of his core repertoire. Some things were notably missing, actually. Let's see, I don't think there's like a Tchaikovsky violin concerto in here, for example, which you absolutely positively have to have because he recorded it like 7 times or something like that. His very first recording of it from 1938 is in here, and maybe some others as well. We will see. But, when they say complete Columbia and HMV recordings, we need to keep in mind that they're not talking about the Columbia recordings we all love and care about, meaning, for example, the Ormandy, Sibelius, and Tchaikovsky violin concertos, the Mitropoulos, Shostakovich, the Charles Munch French music stuff, Saint-Saëns and Chansons Poème. All of those were released here for American Columbia. But back in the day, like the pre-war period, there was also Columbia in Europe that was affiliated with HMV, which became EMI. It's very complicated. It really is. And so there are some early recordings there too. And they're not those. If they had licensed all of that stuff from Sony, then I think this box would have had considerably more value, because those are some of his very greatest performances, as we know, from his first American tour in the 50s. Anyway, let's go through this, and I'll tell you what's in it, and then you can decide whether or not you want it. It's a beautiful collection for Oistrakh fans and for violin music fanciers generally. It really is. I can tell you that right away. And Oistrakh needs no introduction. And these recordings. If you don't have them, you should have them. But if you got this, there's a real question as to how much of this you will need, because this is a very, very good collection. It really is. So, of course, it's out of print. It's gone for years. So anyway, let's go through it. And we need to go through it, disc by disc, because the extremely thick and hagiographic booklet here only gives you a list of composers and CDs in the back here. It doesn't give you all the information that you need. And so we have to look at the actual discs. So let me see if we're starting with disc 1. We are. CD 1. And I have to say, because they've decoupled these things from the way that they were issued here, the original CD releases, I'm a little bit annoyed at some of the short playing times. They've definitely tried to stretch this out so that you pay more for more discs. And that, I think, is a little, well, it's not nefarious, I get it, but I wish they hadn't done it. So let's just take out this clump. Here's the clump. This is up through CD 20, the first 20. So it's approximately the first third of the set. And I'm going to try and do this without, see if I can move a cat over here. And there we go. Okay, thank you, Mildred. All right, first, we have the Kreutzer Sonata with Lev Oborin. That's all that's on the disc. I mean, it's a 33-minute and 33-second disc. I think, as we get more of these boxes, that kind of bugs me. I mean, they could have recoupled these things in a smarter way, but there it is. Then we've got Oistrakh and Yampolsky doing the Franck Sonata and the Szymanowski Sonata in D minor. Wonderful coupling, by the way, and lovely. These are from, what year is this? This is mono from 1954 in Stockholm. And the Kreutzer is also mono, also from Paris in 1953. So, some of these things are going to be mono, some of them will be stereo. We have the Sibelius Concerto with the Stockholm Festival Orchestra under Sixten Ehrling. This is also mono. This is a famous performance, but boy, it's not better than his recording with Ormandy. I mean, God, no. And that's not in here. So there you go. Sibelius. Oh, pardon me. Yes, that was Sibelius in disc 2. No, disc 3. Yeah. Oh, this is the Beethoven with Sixten Ehrling. Okay, there you go. He did an amazing Beethoven with André Clutaz, which is in here, right? Yes, of course it is. Beethoven, triple concerto, Beethoven, triple concerto. You get it twice. Beethoven and Sibelius. Oh, you do get a Sibelius violin concerto here. Which one is this? Wait a minute. Let me just look. I'm not going to do this entirely because it will simply make you crazy. Oh, these don't have the performance information on the tray cards. So you gotta look in the booklet. Oh, let's go insane, shall we? Why not? Violin concerto. Yeah, these are the Sixten Ehrling ones again. Okay, fine. And then you get the Beethoven with Clutaz later. So it will probably appear here as well. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it is. I heard it in here, so it's there. Anyway, so there's that. Okay, but again, the Beethoven and Sibelius are on one CD in this. They're on 2 CDs in this. So, it's not entirely a fair deal, in my view. Okay, what's this thing? Oh, look at this. The Philharmonia Orchestra, conducted by Jean Martinon in the Lalo Symphony Espagnole on 1 disc. Come on, folks, really. And it's the Symphony Espagnole. Most horrible piece ever written for the violin. No, that's Ravel's Tzigana. But it's close. The Bruch Violin Concerto in Prokofiev number 1 with Lovro von Matichich. Yay! Yes, that's famous and we love it. And it's wonderful. The Cacciatorian, and single disc right there. Some more Beethoven sonatas. The Sonata number 3, Violin Sonata number 3, with Vladimir Yampolsky, and the Brahms Violin Sonata number 3. These are also mono from 1955. Some of these are mono, some of them are stereo, but they were all EMI recordings. They're very good. Let's see. Yes, the Cacciatorian here is mono. It's Cacciatorian conducting. The Matichich stuff is mono too. Bruch and Prokofiev. Okay. Let's put this down. 7 and 8. All right, we're making progress here. Then we've got the Prokofiev Violin Sonata number 2 and the Cacciatorian Violin Sonata with Oistrakh and Yampolsky. I'm not going to worry whether it's stereo or mono. You know these recordings, or if you don't, too bad. You'll hear them. If you want them, you'll like them. And they sound fine. They really do. The Schubert Octet. This is fun. This is from 1955 in Moscow with Oistrakh and many friends. Well, 7 of them particularly. Let's see, the Tartini Devil's Trill Sonata and Mozart Sonata in B flat, Herschel 454, and a couple more Tartinis and another Mozart. So that's like fun. The Taneyev, oh, this is great. The Concert Suite, I love this piece for violin and orchestra. It doesn't get played as often as it should. It really should. It's a beautiful work, a really beautiful, big, serious work. It's 42 minutes long on one CD. It's in stereo. It's with Nikolai Malko, and so that's lovely. We've got, little sniglets, Faya, 7 popular Spanish folk songs, Tchaikovsky's Scherzo Vals from Joseph Suk, 6 pieces, Kodaï's 3 Hungarian folk songs, Wieniawski, and other, stuff for violin fanciers. I have to confess, charming as some of that stuff is, I never listen to it if I could avoid it. The Brahms Double Concerto with Fournier and the Tragic Overture. The original disc, I gather. Yes, the original coupling from 56 with the Philharmonia and Alceo Galliera. And so that's fun to have. The Beethoven Archduke, his great Archduke, with the Oistrakh Trio. Beethoven Triple Concerto with Malcolm Sargent. Oh, yes, look at that. With Kuniashevitsky and Lev Oborin with the Philharmonia. I kind of like this one better than his later one, I think. I really do. With, Richter and Rostropovich and Karajan. Ugh, those people. I don't think that one was so hot, but some people swear by it. Schubert Trio Number 1. Oh, it's lovely. That's nice. With, other people. Yes. With Sviatoslav Knushevitsky and Lev Oborin. Mozart Violin Concerto Number 3. Prokofiev Number 2. With Oistrakh and the Philharmonia Orchestra under Galliera. And Oistrakh always conducted and played in the Mozart concertos, which was kind of cool. Here's the old Beethoven with André Cluytans, one of the great ones. Oh, gosh, amazing. Absolutely fabulously terrific. And the Brahms Violin Concerto with Klemperer, which is really amazing, with the French Radio Symphony Orchestra. This is kind of amazing because it was recorded in 1960, and it has just an incredible German sound that Klemperer got from this orchestra. Really, really kind of cool. So that's the first 20 of them. And let's continue. The Brahms Double Concerto with Rostropovich and Sell. Oh, yes. And then the Brahms Violin Concerto with Cleveland and Sell, which is also fabulous. Just fabulous. Oh, my goodness, the Brahms concertos. They just keep them coming. He did one also for Deutsche Grammophon, didn't he? With Konvichny, I think. Yes, in mono with the Gewandhaus. I mean, he's all over the place. And so there's so much stuff. They didn't make any effort to gather together his studio recordings for other labels other than the Moscow stuff. Okay, here's the Triple Concerto with Karajan that everybody sort of talks about, that I never quite liked. The Mozart concertos, yes, with the Berlin Phil, numbers 1 through 5, and hopefully the Symphony Concertante with Igor, his son. Yeah, and he's playing and conducting all of this stuff. Yes, here they are. Mozart, the Concertone for 2 violins, the Symphony Concertante. Yeah, they're all here. 3 discs. Some of the greatest Mozart recordings ever, no doubt. Shostakovich, Violin Concerto Number 1, conducted by Maxim and the Philharmonia. Oistrakh was getting a little bit long in the tooth when this was recorded, and his earlier recording of it with Mitropoulos is preferable. And some of his Melodia ones are, closer to the premiere, were preferable. I mean, his technique started to go a little bit toward the end of his career. He was quite young when he died in the mid-70s in Amsterdam. It seems Amsterdam is the place where Russian artists go to suddenly pass away. It happened to Kirill Kondrashin there too, didn't it? Anyway, but it's a great Shostakovich. I mean, it's wonderful. Then we've got 2 discs. We've got Bravura. Bravura and Virtuoso Rarities. Now, these are premiere releases and a lot of works due to his discography. So here we've got Paganini and Wieniawski and Ephraim Zimbalist's Fantasy on the Golden Cockerel after Rimsky-Korsakov, Sarasate, the Carmen Fantasy. I mean, this is all lots of fun. And it's with Kirill Kondrashin conducting the USSR Symphony Orchestra. So we're getting now into all of this melodious stuff. Then we've got Virtuoso Rarities. Grieg lyric pieces. These are arrangements. Handel, Stamets, Lalo, Mio, Liszt, Scriabin, Pancho, Vladigarov. Oh, Vladigarov, yeah. The Bulgarian guy. I mean, his stuff is on Capriccio. I've got like piles of it I could talk about someday. And Heinrich Wilhelm Ernst, who wrote marvelous pieces. And this is his Fantasy Brillante sur le marche et la romance d'Otello de Rossini. Oodles of fun. I mean, so these are valuable and interesting, if you're an Oistrakh person. Bach. We have Bach. We've got Sonata number 2 for violin and keyboard. Oh, there are a bunch of violin and keyboards. The Brandenburg Concerto number 4. He never did the sonatas and partitas. He didn't. And apparently Mr. Monsaingeon here asked him, why haven't you ever done it? Why don't you do it? I want it. And he said he never felt ready. He was a very humble guy. Really kind of great. Mozart, violin sonatas with Jampolsky, recorded in 1950. And, grotty, but tolerable sound. Mozart Violin Concerto number 7, the one that isn't really by Mozart. Let's see, and the Rondo and Flute Quartet number 3, and the Rondo for violin and orchestra. See, these are all things that were not released before. They're all mono recordings. And, Schumann. Oh, lots of Schumann. Fantasy in C major, arranged Kreisler and orchestrated by Feigen with Kirill Kondrashin. I mean, some of this stuff's really interesting. Violin Sonata number 1, piano quartet in E flat with Alexander Goldenweiser piano. Ooh, baby. And let's see, Mikhail Terian viola and Stanislav Knushevitsky cello, 1952. More Schumann. Goodness gracious. This piano trio number 1 with Leva Borin and Knushevitsky. Piano trio number 2 with Alexander Goldenweiser and Knushevitsky. Vignettes. Oh, gosh. People buy Handel, arias arranged for violin, Hofstetter, Mendelssohn, Wagner, Sibelius, a bit of Belshazzar's Feast. Tor Aulin, Cyril Scott, Cesar Cui, Vieuxtemps, Chopin, Scriabin, Tzigana, and Glazunov. There you go, again with the USSR Symphony Orchestra and Kirill Kondrashin in the Tzigana and the Glazunov Mazurka Oberek. Okay, the best ever Tzigana. No, I'm just kidding. It's horrible no matter who plays it. Fritz Kreisler. Kreisler stuff. And like a little bit of Kreisler stuff, Faya from La Vida Breve, the Spanish dance number 1, and Granados. These are all Kreisler arrangements and Kreisler original pieces. So there you go. He actually met Kreisler when I think he was in New York for the first time at his first Carnegie Hall recital. It was very exciting. Everybody was there, including Marilyn Monroe. She knew where to go for a good time. Anyway, Grieg violin sonatas 1, 2, and 3 with Leva Borin. Beautiful performances. I enjoyed that disc very much. Chausson et Debussy, the Chausson Concert, which is definitely something you haven't heard before in the Oistrakh discography, along with the Borodin Quartet. Boy, is that fun! And who's playing piano? Wait a minute, cello. Leva Borin is the pianist. Wonderful. Then a bunch of Debussy transcriptions with Jampolsky and the Suite Bergamasque with Frida Bauer. Okay. Szymanowski. Let's see what we get here. Violin Sonata in D minor. Well, you get another recording of that. This is from 56. The Myths. Oh, God, those are so beautiful. It's wonderful. Nocturne in Tarantella. And the first violin concerto with the Warsaw National Philharmonic under Karol Stryja. So that's from 1961. Well, that's cool. That's not stuff that we heard him do before too often. Tchaikovsky. Violin Concerto, the Moscow Radio Symphony under Alexander Gok from 1938. And it sounds it. Souvenir d'un lieu cher, the Serenade Melancholique with Kondrashin and others. Another Souvenir d'un lieu cher, the Valse Scherzo for violin and orchestra, with the piano version. And the Souvenir de Hapsal. Okay, whatever that was. Russia. We have Russia. 3 discs of Russia. Prokofiev, Cinderella and Romeo and Juliet bits, in arrangements, Stravinsky music, Rachmaninoff, Medtner, Glazunov, Shostakovich's Three Fantastic Dances, Khachaturian goodies, from various things. Scheherazade with the Bolshoi Theater Orchestra under Nikolai Anosov from 1950. He plays the solos. Prokofiev Violin Concerto No. 1 with the USSR Radio Symphony under Prokofiev himself from 1938. Maybe this is, valuable historical stuff. More Russia. What have we got here? Oh, Otar Taktakishvili, his concertino, conducted by the composer. Wow, baby. Nikolai Rakov, Violin Concerto No. 1 under Kondrashin. Glier, the Bronze Horseman with the Bolshoi Theater Orchestra excerpt on the Glazunov Violin Concerto with Kondrashin and all this stuff from 1949. Concertos with piano accompaniment. Let me see, there's a couple discs of these, right? Yeah, two. Two discs of them, so let's just blow through them. They are concertos by Mozart, Vieuxtemps, Sibelius, Bach, Bruch, and Dvorak. So there they are. Unfortunately, I don't think we have he did the Dvorak concerto for Melody. I don't think it's in here. Well, maybe it is. Hang on a minute. I don't remember, since I actually was going through this very, very gradually over the past couple of months. I have to take this stuff in small doses. Some things I can just glom into, and say, oh, I can binge. But these things, especially because they're sonically iffy sometimes, and it's solo violin music, and I need to make comparisons, and and then I forget what I've done. So there you go. Eugene Isai, oh yes, with a testimonial, a David Oistrakh speech about Eugene Isai, and some Locatelli, and that's like kind of nifty. Italy and Spain. Here's Italy and Spain. Oh, Czechoslovakia is coming up. Wait a minute. Italy and Spain. Vitali, Vivaldi, Tartini, Locatelli, Albanese. Well, okay, he's Spain. Sarasate and Falla. The arrangements of the 7 popular Spanish folk songs with Kondrashin and, let's see, Yehudi Menuhin and Arthur Grumio and the Orchestre de la Société Bach Anvers under Georges Octour. Whoa. Pick that apart, why don't you? Let's see, Dvorak, Mazurek, Slavonic Dance, Smetana, the Domovini thing, my from my homeland, yes. Sook, 6 pieces, 4 pieces for violin and piano, and the Martinu Third Violin Sonata. Oh, yeah, that's cool. With Yampolsky, Abram Makarov, and Frida Bauer, pianists. Let's see, Eastern Europe. Brahms, Hungarian Dances, Kodai, Bartók, Mieczysław Weinberg, Jaromir Weinberger, the polka from Schwanda der Dudelsach Pfeifer. Yeah, well, baby. Sonata rarities. Medtner, Violin Sonata in E minor, the Epica. Mieczysław Weinberg, Sonata for Violin and Piano No. 2. Vyacheslav Ovchinnikov, his Ballade for Violin and Piano. He wrote some good music, Ovchinnikov. Taneyev, Violin Sonata. Zara Levina, Violin Sonata No. 1, with Alexander Goldenweiser. Wilhelm Stenhammar, Violin Sonata in A minor, with Greta Eriksson from 1971, Swedish radio broadcast there. The David Oistrakh Quartet, 3 discs. You ready? Brahms, String Quartet No. 1. Tchaikovsky, String Quartet No. 1. Beethoven, the Harp Quartet. Schubert, a bit of Death of the Maiden, the slow movement. Mendelssohn, String Quartet No. 1, the Canzonetta Allegretto, which they sucked out of that. Mozart, Clarinet Quintet. Who's the clarinetist? Pyotr Bondarenko. No, it's Mikhail Terian. No, it's here he is, Vladimir Sorokin. And the Brahms Clarinet Quintet. So you get both clarinet quintets in one thing. Music, concertante music. Let's see what this is. The Beethoven Romance with Kondrashin conducting. The Max Bruch Scottish Fantasy with Rozhdestvensky conducting. Well, that's fun. The Hindemith Violin Concerto with Rozhdestvensky. That was something he recorded for Decca. Remember, there are also some Oistrakh Decca recordings. And Phillips recordings, of course, the Beethoven Violin Sonatas, the complete set, which is not here because it's on that label. What can you do? Early recordings. Okay, early recordings. Bach Concerto for 2 violins with Enescu playing the violin, second violin. Oh my God. The Schubert Trout Quintet, the Saint-Saëns introduction in Rondo Capriccioso, some Cacciatorian thing, Debussy's Beau Soir, Dvorak's Slavonic Dance in G minor that everybody does ad nauseum. More early recordings. We've got, oh my God, little violin sniglets by everybody. I mean, we've got Daquin, Ubai, Bach, Beethoven, Chopin, Natalie Townsend. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Wolf, Scriabin, Glinka, Moskovsky, Chausson, parts of his concert, bits and things. Then we've got, let's see, a live recital, 1960, in Moscow. The Bach Sonata No. 6 in G minor for violin and keyboard, not solo violin. Brahms Violin Sonata No. 3, Karen Cacciatorian Violin Sonata No. 1, and then encores, bazillions of encores. Alfred Mendelssohn's Partita, Prelude and Fugue for solo violin, Vitali's Chacona for solo violin or whatever, Liszt, Soirées de Vienne, and Prokofiev's Melody, and Tzigana. That's the end. This Tzigana, well, I guess they went home happy. Then you've got the 3 DVDs that I mentioned previously, which I will stuff back in here. And that is the set. That is quite the edition. It really is. It's a remarkable, remarkable tribute, a remarkable legacy. And according to Bruno Monsaingeon, there would have been hundreds of other things sitting around in the Melodia archives, just hundreds and hundreds. He said just, unbelievable quantities of stuff that they have sitting there, and they are doing nothing with and don't care about. And, we could, jump up and down and scream and carry on with outrage, but the truth of the matter is, how much do you really need? I mean, it really is an open question. He was a marvelous artist. He dripped music. He left music everywhere. I'd love to get a disc of stuff he conducted. That would be fun, a little set. There's things like that from Russia. But in the meantime, he was a violinist, first and foremost, and this is as great a tribute to his art as a violinist that we could ever hope to see, I think. And if you don't know him or don't have him or don't know what he is or who he is or why he is or any of those things, then you probably would want to get this if you don't have this. But if you do have the earlier set, then it's really up to you. It's a question of just how much of any one guy doing these violin pieces you really need. What can I tell you? It's your call. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.